So my name is Emily Boucher, and I've been at Rancho for a little over a year now. I was born and raised in San Jose, California, up in the Bay Area. I lived there for the first 24 years of my life, and back in 2016, my parents actually retired to Temecula. So I'd been visiting Temecula for summers and winter vacations for about 3-4 years. I was born and raised in the church. I was homeschooled, and I think I have a natural bent towards legalism and rule following and order and structure. I think I grew up with a very legalistic faith, and that was, I think, only really reinforced by just growing up in the church 24/7, being homeschooled, and just constantly being surrounded by like-minded people with like-minded views. And that, I think, really began to be first challenged, first in community college and then in Berkeley, as I was exposed to more and more views that were so different from my own. And arriving at Rancho, I was really blown away by just how grace was really talked about here and embraced. And for me, just the past year coming to Rancho and digging into the Word and listening to the sermons, it's been really freeing just to not place my self-esteem on, okay, well, have I read the Bible every day this week? Have I, said all my prayers? Have I, have I been good this week? Just to rest in God's grace on my bad days and my good. And to know that, the work is complete, it is finished, He has done it. And that I can just focus on loving Him and loving others now as best I can. When I graduated from homeschool high school and started going to a secular community college, that was a really big transition, just to have friends who weren't Christian, to be learning things in classes that maybe I had not been taught before in Christian homeschool. That was a really big adjustment. Through that, I really learned how to rely on God, not just a Sunday faith, and not in a way where, I'm surrounded by all these like-minded individuals and my parents and my brother, but I'm surrounded by people who hold different views than myself, and how can I love them and not force my views on them, but how can I just come alongside them and love them just the way they are? I think starting off at Berkeley, it was, again, a really big transition from going from homeschool to community college and then community college to Berkeley, because I had put time and effort into making friends at community college, and now again I had to transition into, okay, I've got to make a new community all over again. And during that time I really had to rely on God. Academics were a whole new level compared to community college, just adjusting to that and really realizing for the first time, I'm not getting all A's anymore. I really cannot find my whole value and self-esteem in my GPA. It's really who I am in Christ. When I was at UC Berkeley, I was never really able to plug into a church group. There were a lot of really great, solid groups with amazing people, but I was always just so busy with academics and other commitments, and I just never really found a group that I clicked with. But I was really lucky to just remain really close with my family and my Christian friends back at school and in San Jose. And I think that's really what helped me stay firm in my my Christian foundation as I went to Berkeley. But all of my friends, I didn't have any Christian friends while I was at Berkeley. But what I loved was that we were all diverse. Everyone was from a different place, had a different background, grew up with a different set of beliefs, and we were able to really share our beliefs openly with each other. Not so much in a way to challenge or kind of poke at the other person, but really coming from a place of wanting to understand and empathize with each other and learn how to support each other through just the crazy experience that is college and life after college. Last summer, I graduated from college. When I moved to Temecula and started going to Rancho, I was really concerned about finding a group of young professionals, just because there's not too many here. It's a lot of more mature adults and then people with families and young kids. And just having grown up in the church and been to multiple churches and tried out different groups at college, I know how hard it is to walk into a group for the first time. So I was really excited when I found out that they specifically had a young professionals group. I remember walking in the first time during the summer and just being immediately welcomed and integrated into the group, just feeling at ease. People talked to me, they asked me questions, it was obvious they cared, and immediately I knew I had found my home at Rancho. When I first started going to Rancho's young professional group last summer, their summer series was all about love and dating and marriage and relationships. And at first I kind of rolled my eyes and was like, oh, of course, like, it always has to be about this. But for the first time, I was hearing biblical views, like being single is great and it's encouraged by Paul in the Bible. And to me, who had never really dated at Berkeley, had rarely dated in community college and not at all in high school, but really wanted to, that was a really refreshing thing to hear. And for the first time, I felt really empowered to just, really throw myself into a career that, finding my God-given purpose and using that to serve others, to serve the world. And I think the Young Professionals group, it was really, and still is really, an atmosphere where, there's no gossip, there's no pressure to find someone. Everyone is first and foremost friends. We're there to be friends, to love each other, to serve each other. And there's no gossipy, weird pressure to get together to find someone. So when I started going to Rancho last summer, I heard about the Career Reboot series during a sermon or a Sunday service. And at the time, I was a fresh college graduate. I had very intentionally put off the job search until after graduation so I could just enjoy my last semester. So it was very much needed and perfect timing. My plan was that I had no plan. I majored in economics, which I absolutely loved, but it's a very general subject. And throughout all my years of high school and college, I was never really able to narrow down what I wanted to do with it. So I think the career class really helped me to narrow down exactly what kind of jobs I wanted to apply to, because I graduated with just no real clear vision of what I wanted to do. I got a job offer last November, and the class was super helpful, I think, in helping me get that job offer. One of the main takeaways from the class was just the support. It can be a full-time job to job search, and it can be really soul-crushing at times. So just to know that I had that place every week to go to, people who understood where I was coming from, who knew the daily stresses, and all that really comes with job searching. I was also really able to learn some hard skills about, how to craft your resume, how to interview, how to be really strategic with where you apply, and how to cold call recruiters, things like that. Yeah, I made several friends who I still keep in contact with, and we've all found jobs in the meantime. So the job I currently have, my company partners with water and wastewater utilities, and we help them create their rates and essentially make sure that they have the money to operate. And water is such an essential service to everyone that at the end of the day, I really remember that I'm helping people just stay healthy. It's a public health issue. And on the days when I'm maybe not so much feeling my job, I'm tired or cranky, stressed, whatever, just remember that I'm really there to be a light for Christ in my attitude. I'm there to serve my coworkers, my boss, and my clients, and ultimately God through that. I would say just jump into the class. It's not intimidating. The instructors are so nice and so welcoming and caring. And even if you are tentative about making a career change or unsure if you want to do that at all, if anything, you're going to come away with some great skills that you can use in the future or maybe even share with a friend.